So yeah, so getting started. This is like a project that I've like recently started. It's like probably like not even like a V1. It's like V0 point something. So the idea is how are we making the AI autonomous in the sense that it has like more control, right? Say for example, we are having like Cloud Code, but the thing that I have observed is why is it so why are we like even prompting it to get started, right? If I'm wearing a hat of a data analyst or a data scientist, for example, I'll probably open the laptop, probably look at some Jira tickets or some dashboards. Trends went down. I'd probably investigate it, right? So I mean that's the idea that I've used to used as a lead to develop this one. So what it does is basically it right now does this very simple task of asking something. So let's say user asks something. So it basically retrieves the context. Like say for example, a blue color is observed. So what does that means to do? So it means difference in different contexts, right? Say for example, it can like observe the record and do nothing, or probably escalate it, or do something else. So all these actions have been like identified and like categorized into like probably I would say 6 exhaustive categories for now, which is like record, clarify, analyze, plan, and direct answer and escalate. So when I say these categories, this is currently for like a workflow AI in probably a corporate setting, but it can also be expanded to further, you know, sections or further industries. So that is like the first part, which is like the router, and the second part is selector. So selector is basically what it needs to do, like choose the best pathway, which is like workflow style response or direct answer response. Direct answer response is like hitting an API to answer it, and now finalizer is where things get a little bit interesting. Where so what I've observed is whenever you have something, the traces and the workflow records are useful internally, but they need to be rendered clearly for the human to use it. So that was the idea that I've used to basically build this thing, like a cognitive cell. But the North Star is basically to replace this part, like the user asks something has to go off. For that, what I'm trying to do is build build a probably a self model that kind of understands what is the persona, what is the context, and kind of adapts to it. So I mean, right now I have just published this package. It's called Cognitive Cell. It's on PyPI, and you can probably try it. So the context over here is something like this. Say for example, there's like a warehouse event. I hope the font is fine. Yeah. Say the package label shows the wrong city. Say for example, that is what is the statement or the user prompt. So how could it react? Like we had constraint, active goals, metadata, etc., etc., and these together probably would accommodate for the next response or the next best thing to do. The same thing in a medication event probably has to be responded in a different scenario, right? The idea is to make it so autonomous that you need not even prompt multiple times that you shouldn't do this, or there is some caveat. Probably if you are working in a healthcare setup, there might be a lot of hyper-regulations and stuff, right? So the idea is to basically have all those predefined or even like something pre-engineered so that it could just act on the go. So that was the main idea, and yeah. So I mean, as I've said, I've done some validations or like how it is better than like a plain ChatGPT response. And for that, I think out of like 100 cases, I got 62 times it's better than GPT-1. GPT 5.5, it's like 55%, but as I've said, this is like not even like V1. And I've done like a 100 event enterprise sidecar pilot. So I basically evaluated few metrics, and it said the useful first move is based on this particular architecture, and basically I've also performed a few other things where it's tied to how can this be compared to the baseline, which is baseline is like GPT 5.5 or GPT 4, and out of 100 cases, 79 cases was basically preferred this particular thing to be like more contextual or more meaningful than like a plain chat GPT response or something like that. So yeah, I think this is the progress for now, but going forward, what I'm planning to do is scrape some of the data, try it out like with more use cases, and give autonomous control of a system so that we can evaluate the next steps. So, I mean, in the process, there was obviously some things that went south. So first thing is, so the thing that I came up with, like the three steps, which is like route, select, and finalizer. Basically, initially the route got over clarified, which means the earlier versions were just like asking a lot of clarifying questions, which kind of increased the API costs as well. So I thought like chopping it down would make sense. So and workflow architects were also like too raw. So probably having like a pretty strict JSON response gave me weak answers. And yeah, I think the baseline, the ChatGPT responses were also stronger than expected. But once I came up with this particular architecture, it kind of solved things initially. I mean, at least gave me a direction to go. So yeah, I mean, probably the next time if I might present, this might not be even relevant, but yeah, just telling how I'm trying to build these things. Yeah.
So I had a question on the premise was like user questions, but it seemed like your example data was like an event in the system.
Correct. So so the example data was like there's like an observation.
Okay, it's like some supporting context.
Yeah, supporting context or something like that. Yeah. What's the next best thing to do? Like even if he has like ChatGPT, like it's raining outside, so it could give like anything, like wear an umbrella, or even like make sure something is outside. So the idea is to make it too vague, and the system has to respond in a way that it already kind of takes the context, not like telling a lot of user prompting. So
when it's routing, what is it deciding between to route?
So basically, it appreciates the situation based on these 6 categories for now. So record, clarify, analyze, plan, direct answer, escalate. So based on this, it kind of triggers few things, which is like, I mean, I'm currently, the demo might not work for now, but the idea is to basically trigger like a JSON event of doing the next best thing. Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's intent.
It's intent. Yeah, it's intent. Right. Right. I mean, if it were given access to the systems, I could probably evaluate it a lot better. But for now, I thought like this is one better way of going. Yeah.
And what do you route it to? An SLM or LLM or?
Yeah. So I've tried it with a lot of large language models. I've tried OpenAI, the Llama. I've tried Claude and also Gemini. So most of the responses were kind of similar. I've also done some evaluations based on for each of the LLMs how the responses were. So GPT responses were kind of consistent over few of these observations. So I thought like GPT is like good for now. Yeah.
Are you, when you're doing this, do you record it through a log at all? Because I feel like this could be useful for possible like post-training and fine-tuning and things like that.
Correct.
I have a lot of issues when it comes to steering, when you get to a big thing that you're working towards. So.
Yeah. So you're asking like, am I logging it off like in memory?
Yeah, like when you're recording the routes here, are you like are you kind of attaching it to like keeping a record of everything that you analyze, so if you wanted to, you could feed that back in as training data?
Yeah, that's the whole idea, because over time it has to become so robust that without even telling anything, it has to like act upon it. So so currently it's kind of stateless, but what I'm trying to do is adapt memory as well, so that it becomes more nuanced. You had a question?
Yeah, so the question was, it sounds like you're trying to, this is what I'm trying to understand, is are you trying to create a way that, whether it was like it's a worker, or I don't know how you plan to implement it, but you're trying to get whatever the preference of how somebody would respond to it if it was going to ask a clarifying question.
Correct.
Or anything, and then you kind of like that digital twin of yourself, or the profile.
Right. That's exactly the persona is kind of.
And then the question then would be, when you say clarify for the router, is that similar to a response, but it was more a summarization, or are you thinking more like it's gonna ask back? Because I think you just want a single output. Right?
Yeah, that's a good point. So the clarify is basically for human intervention for sure, because or if you basically look at this, this is basically like a Lego block, you could imagine. So probably another Lego block would clarify it. So say Lego block A should ask a Lego block B that it needs clarification. Okay. So it could be that, or it could also be a human intervention if it's probably pretty critical or important. So yeah.
Does it also have like real-time context now, as in Gabe's example?
Yeah, I mean, there's like completely architecture-based approach for now, but you can add like everything to it. Like, there's basically the way I developed it is looking at how can we make it so atomic. So let me actually show. So I named this as Lego so that all these things are like pretty atomic. So you can add like whatever API calls you have, whatever routes you have. So real-time context also, yes. Yeah, you can do that for sure.
It can be added as a separate.
We can keep answering questions.
Yeah, sure.
We can keep taking questions, but I'm just going to have Taylor.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Any more questions?
Yeah.
Is the router using the structured prompts in order to determine which type of
Not exactly structured prompts. There's like a Markovian-based, rule-based methods. Basically, that's what is being used right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.